Hey everybody, welcome back to V&J Reviews. It is great to have you with us today. For this episode, we are talking about Jiren. This is Vin.
And this is Joe.
That mysterious figure, he's becoming a lot more clear. We're going to talk about him today. Some more information, new stuff. You're going to want to stick with this. We are starting to figure out who Jiren really is. It's been 2 episodes in a row, and we've been getting a lot of information about Jiren, and actually we really need to, because this thing is coming down to the wire. There's been a lot of worry on some people's ends, including mine, and I'm sure Joe, that Super wasn't going to be able to wrap this thing up, because there's so much to do in so little time, and clearly they're trying to now start to wrap up or close up the storyline behind Jiren and who Jiren is. Now, one of the things that happened last episode is we saw 2 important statements. We released a video about this, and that was when basically Toppo was eliminated. We saw 2 important things that Jiren said. The first thing is that Jiren said Toppo was pathetic. Now, this is really the most important of the 2, because we put out a video and we said, wow, Jiren is calling his friend pathetic after he loses. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. He basically put everything on the line. He gave up his life, essentially, to become this god of destruction, to try and get as much power as he could in the final minutes of the tournament, and to try to win. He puts everything out. He's fighting 17. He's fighting Frieza. He's fighting Vegeta. He does all he can do, and he ultimately loses. All right, so he loses, and then his friend, his sworn friend, as Toppo says, calls him pathetic, and we say, what? That's unbelievable. To call somebody pathetic. Even Goku called Toppo out on that one. Even I'm pretty sure others did as well. I'm not really sure that there was others that were saying, like, what the heck is wrong with you? And we agree. It's just it's a character. It's his character, and we basically took the line that he said this because Toppo couldn't win. Toppo wasn't strong enough to win. He wasn't good enough to win. And as we put out that narrative, that was our analysis of it. Interestingly enough, on our video, we got some great feedback. And this is a little bit about some of the comments that we get to here, because the new episode deals with this more about Jiren's character. For the most part, we always ask for your comments on the videos. We love reading what you guys are saying. And matter of fact, we read pretty much everything. Even though we don't respond, we look at all the comments. And we usually get mostly about, I'd say 90% agreement and great comments, thumbs up, that sort of stuff. And then with 10% of them, we get disagreement. But those disagreements really fall into 2 categories. One of the categories is respectful disagreement, meaning, we hear what you're saying about Toppo, in that Jiren basically says, listen, you're out because you weren't good enough, you weren't strong enough, you're pathetic. But I disagree with you on that. I think it has more to do with the fact that Toppo threw away his justice. He threw away that title to become a god of destruction.
And those guys could absolutely be correct. I mean, we're not going to say that we know it all and we're always going to be right. And they have a good point. So I want to make sure you guys know, even when you make these comments, we agree sometimes, like, you know what? You could actually be right in this. There could be where he was being disappointed in his justice. It didn't seem like that to us based off of the reactions of everything. So that's why we went this opposite way. But I want to make sure you guys know, we do see your point as well.
And I think for the most part, we decided to go the direction where it was more based on the fact that Toppo lost, because he said the statement in context after Toppo lost. He didn't say it in context after he became a god of destruction. Of course, he did say, wow, you made that decision, but he didn't say you're pathetic, which is a completely different thing. He only said it after he lost. So we went the direction that he believed Toppo wasn't good enough, strong enough, and he was pathetic. But then we had those always, usually around 5% maybe, or a little bit less actually, probably 1 or 2%, who when they disagree very disrespectfully, to the degree of, you guys don't know what in the heck you're talking about. What are you watching? It's unbelievable how wrong you are. The only reason that Jiren said that was because he gave up his pride, because he became a god of destruction. It had nothing to do with the fact that he lost 0. And now I'm being nice in the way that I'm saying it. but usually it's scattered around with, just unbelievably foul language. I don't know if you guys gotten it by now. We don't use that kind of language on this channel. And it's up to you if you want to use that language or if you want to live your life expressing yourself that way. That's fine. It's your life, whatever you want to do. We've chosen to do it this way. But to read those things, it's like, okay, I get it. And then the next episode comes out, and not only was it unbelievably disrespectful from some people, but it was absolutely wrong. In fact, the reason that Jiren, and we're not going to say it's 100%, but it's definitely up to the 90% mark at this point. The reason that Jiren called Toppo pathetic was because he lost, because he wasn't strong enough. He didn't have enough strength, because strength is clearly everything to Jiren. In fact, in Jiren's own words, he says strength is absolute. In Jiren's own words, he said, strength forgives all. Toppo wasn't strong enough. He wasn't powerful enough. That is why he called him pathetic, because he believes that anyone who's not strong enough is not worth it. They're not worthy of his time, his energy, nothing. They're pathetic. And that was revealed in a great way to us in this last episode, with a lot of imagery and backstory to show us that strength is Jiren's god. Strength is Jiren's idol. And when somebody isn't strong enough, you are nothing to him. And Toppo became nothing to him. And that is why Toppo was pathetic. Not because he turned into a god of destruction. It may be true Jiren doesn't like that either, but it was ultimately that he lost. If Toppo became strong enough to beat Vegeta and beat Goku, Jiren would not call him pathetic because his strength would be unbelievable. And again, in Jiren's own words, strength is absolute. Strength is everything to him. And that is, in fact, why he called him pathetic. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that. Guys, with the comments, if you disagree, awesome, disagree. But try to be respectful in it, because the fact of the matter is we're all taking a shot at what is right and what is wrong here, and what does this mean and how to analyze this. Any one of us could be wrong or right in this. We never know. Episode from episode, things can change. So if you get to the point where you're like, you idiots, you have no clue what you're talking about. How stupid are you? How dumb could you totally be? This is ridiculous. And then the next episode comes out. Oh, shoot. Completely wrong on that one. You totally ripped into somebody, and actually you weren't in the correct on that. So we're trying to be as respectful as we can with that. But for the most part, that is a very small group of people. And I guess I say too, because we came out with, I know I'm being long-winded here, but we came out with an episode as well on Vegeta being beyond galactic. And of course, the analysis was pretty cool. We looked at some volume stuff, and we had a lot of fun with it. If you haven't seen that episode, you want to check it out. It's a lot of fun, okay? And we were pretty clear that we were having fun with the analysis of it. But then we have individuals saying, you guys are dumb. Don't you know that they're already universal? Like Vegeta can one-shot universes now, okay? And the reason, and guys, we're aware of we've watched every episode. We've seen every episode. We know about the fact that Vegeta was stated even in Z to be able to destroy planets. Frieza clearly in Z was able to destroy planets, and we know how absurd it is that he created a planet-sized energy destroyer. Guys, we get that. Just because we don't say everything in the videos doesn't mean we don't understand that. It's just he explicitly stated that. We understand that it could be planet or star, but actually with the Milky Way galaxy analysis, it really doesn't really make a difference if it's planet or star, because a lot of people would assume that there's the same amount of planets as stars. In fact, there may even be more stars than planets in the Milky Way galaxy. So the calculations don't really change up much. But Vegeta being universal, meaning, hey, I want to destroy the entire universe. We understand that a lot of that comes from the fight that Goku had with Beerus, but those who think that from that fight, the words and the things that were said means that Goku and Vegeta now can destroy universes, there's a lot there that we believe that you don't fully understand about what happened there. Now, I'm not going to go into it on this video. We might do it on a later video. But again, just be careful with calling people out and saying, listen, you guys are so dumb. You don't know what you're talking about. In fact, we might not only know about all of that, but have actually analyzed it to the point where we recognize that, in fact, it does not mean that Goku can destroy universes. So just be careful, be respectful in the comments, be respectful all the time. We try to do that here, but a lot was brought out about Jiren and his character and who he is. And so we want to talk more about who is this Jiren and what is he all about.
So we get a lot of information from Belmont in this episode about Jiren and his past. Basically, to go over it quickly, at a young age, Jiren's family was killed by some evildoer. It's actually almost making me think of the Sasuke in Naruto situation where, for all we know, it's his brother and he's trying to get revenge on his brother. I really hope they don't go that direction because then it would be an exact mimic of that. But that's the feel I was sort of getting. I don't know if others like you guys were getting that feeling as well. But so he trains with somebody to try to become stronger. They get this whole group together and they lose to this evildoer again. And basically this really affects Jiren a lot because at this point he just feels like strength is everything. If you have strength, you have power. He doesn't actually care about others. He just cares about strength. He loses trust in people because after they lost, the other people in his party left him. And basically all he's trying to do now is get himself stronger and as powerful as possible. And this is really showing in his speech now during this whole fight. He calls Goku and Vegeta and everybody gnats and telling them how weak they are just during this whole match, just to really dig it in there that strength is everything to him. I mean, he does come out, like Vin said, saying strength is absolute. Strength forgives all. And what I really love, actually, is how 17 calls him out on this. 17 literally says, you don't care about your friends. You just use them for your own means. And it's true. And he actually gets upset at 17 for what he's saying because he notices that he's hitting a nerve there. Even 17 states that directly. He knows that he is right about Jiren. And I love how 17 can analyze this and do this as well. And even Goku analyzed Jiren when they were fighting and asking about what your wish was going to be. And Jiren was like, I want to know what's beyond strength. And Goku said, oh, I see. You just want to get stronger. He understood that. He knew what Jiren was really seeking. So these guys are actually figuring Jiren out pretty quickly on what his motives are and what he's trying to do. And he just keeps on wanting to get stronger, and everybody else who is not stronger than he is just pathetic gnats to him.
And I think that's a great point that Joe brings up about this enemy that destroyed Jiren's family and friends later on. The fact that they didn't reveal who that is done on purpose because there's no doubt in my mind that there's going to be a big reveal on this. Because eventually as Jiren grows up, or even if he didn't know when he was younger who did it originally, he should eventually have found out. And I think there's going to be something behind it. Who was the person who did it? I don't know. But it might be like a shocker to some people on who actually did this act. And how they're going to bring that about, I'm not sure. But definitely look forward for the big reveal on that. And then going back to the strength thing, after 17 sacrifices himself, which in itself is impressive. A lot of people who are lifting Jiren up to this, no, Jiren is righteous and good. He's all good. Okay, so this dude just sacrificed himself for his friends, right? He laid everything down on the line for his friends. And Jiren, the righteous, as some people would like to call him, his words are to Vegeta and Goku, be grateful that he sacrificed himself to save your weak selves. Those are the words that come out of Jiren the Righteous. I'm surprised at how many people are now turning into Jiren is the all good. Jiren, if Jiren says this, then that must be right. Like Jiren didn't want to get into this tournament of power because he didn't want to destroy other universes. Because that's how righteous he is. That's how good he is. And then, but all of a sudden, when Jiren was able to get his wish, now he's willing to join. Now he's willing to kill entire universes for this. There's too big of a flip there. I mean, all of a sudden, now he gets his wish, and now he's okay destroying it. It's like, you can't have it both ways. Either you're really righteous and you don't. And clearly, Jiren is showing his true colors. more and more. Jiren's true colors are simply this: strength is everything. Those who are not strong enough are weak and are gnats. They're pathetic. They're not worth it. They're not worth his time. He will use people to get stronger. He will move to strong as he could possibly be. Goku sees it. 17 sees it. Jiren's backstory is showing it. Strength is everything to him. He feels like anything that's less than strength is failure, and he will not put up with failure, which is not being strong enough. That's why he disrespected and called Toppo pathetic. That's why he lifted Vegeta up when Vegeta was strong enough. But no doubt about it, if somebody goes out, he'll call them pathetic too. He lifts Vegeta up, but then he calls Vegeta a weak person right afterwards. Right when 17 destroys himself, his own words to Vegeta: you weak self. Strength is everything to him. It's all he cares about. And this is the Jiren the righteous. He's not that righteous, okay? And that's what his motive is in all this. And of course, his backstory is the reason. His family and friends. Now, if you're okay with that because he gave up his family and friends died, then whatever. But it doesn't make him righteous because of it.
Now, with Jiren's type of backstory, I mean, I could have seen him being like the type of guy who will fight for the weak and the helpless, but that's not Jiren. That's not the way that his path took when he lost his family. He didn't go that path. I think he might be becoming more like the evil doer, who probably destroyed his family because he probably wants to be strong like him. Maybe even the evildoer himself thinks that only the strong should survive. I mean, I would actually be surprised if that's more the direction they're going. He becomes more like that than the person who goes up and says, I'm going to protect the weak and the helpless. It just doesn't seem like he's going that direction. But also, one other thing that I want to bring up is the manga. The manga might go into a whole different direction on this. The manga has been known to change things, and in the manga, he does seem to be a little bit more righteous and a lot more nicer than what we have been seeing so far in the anime. So I don't want you guys really comparing it with that so much because they're doing something different, I feel, over there, and they actually might go a whole different direction with it. So just to make sure you guys know that.
So with all this said, as always, we want to know, what are your thoughts on this below? So is the picture becoming more clear for you guys like it is for us that Jiren is solely about strength and that strength is everything to him? It is the thing that's absolute. It is the thing that is justice. If he had to describe justice, he would describe it as strength. He would describe strength as forgiving all, strength as everything, and anyone who is not strong enough is a gnat, is pathetic, is weak, and not worth it. Even emotions are not worthy there. He would, winning, he says, will bring companions. Winning will get him everything. These words spoken as Belmod is telling the story. Do you see this as Jiren? Or are we missing something here? In fact, no, Jiren is still righteous. All of this is righteous. Belmod, maybe Belmod's story's wrong. Belmod's making things up. Or what, and of course, we expect probably most people would see this in a similar way. If you don't, go ahead and leave your comments below. As always, please try to be respectful though, because anything could happen next episode. Even we will admit that it's possible that Belmod's making stuff up. Maybe Belmod is the evildoer. Maybe Belmod's manipulating things. I don't know. And maybe it's like all of a sudden it's going to come out that Belmod manipulated everything and see, you guys are wrong. It's possible. We could be wrong. But it looks like the picture is becoming more and more clear here why he's saying the things he's saying and why he's calling people what he's calling them. Gnats, pathetic, weaklings. Strength is everything to him, and less than strong is worthless to him. It's why he treated the rest of his teammates the way he did. It's why he didn't help them early on when he could have helped them. It's why he does everything he does. And this is what we see from Jiren. So what are your thoughts below? We're going to read through them all. So we're excited to see what you guys have to say about it. And hopefully, we get even more insight on this guy. And I think we will. I think we definitely will. We got some episodes left, maybe probably 4 or 5 episodes or so left. So I know there's a week where there won't be a super episode coming out, and so we're getting close here. And as always, we hope you found this one entertaining. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you have not. Until this point, this is Vin.
And this is Joe.
We will see you guys next time.